Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever?
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. Can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is Goblin Quest by Grant Howitt. We're going to be using the Sean Bean variant hack of Goblin Quest, and we'll explain how that works in just a moment here. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Ken Breese.
And D. Gailey.
D. Gailey.
Welcome back, D.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
D, you've not played Goblin Quest before.
No, I never have.
The real basics are we're going to have a quest, and it'll probably have, in this Sean Bean variant, we'll kind of see what the difference is. In the previous one, it was like there were kind of like 3 acts. Each act was a task. Each task had 3 stages. Each stage required a certain number of victories to get through it. The later the act / task, the harder that success is to get. As you go, as you roll die to try to get your success, every 1 and 2 is a damage, and most of your guys can only take 2 damage.
Yeah, all Sean Beans have 2 hit points, obviously.
And every 5 and 6 is a success, and you get to mark those against that that stage of the task. If you roll a 4, that's a good thing. The next person who takes an action, like so you explain what the good thing is, they're going to get a +1 on all their dice in their next roll. But a 3 is a bad thing. Like something bad happens in the scene such that it's going to be harder for the next person to take who takes an action to accomplish their rolls. Are going to get a -1 in their next action. If you roll a 4 and a 3 in your rolls, like if you had, let's say you had a success and you took a damage and you had a 4 and a 3, tie goes to the good, right? But let's say you rolled 2 bad things, that's 2 bad things. That's -2 within the scene.
And what's so great about the Sean Bean that I'm just going to go for it. I'm sorry, Board Ghost. You can hate me if you want to, but I'm going to do it the whole time. The Scene Bean, the thing about the Scene Bean hack is that the idea is that every movie that Scene Bean has been in is a documentary. And so Scene Bean exists throughout the multiverse, millions of versions of him. And at the start of time, some sort of demon warlock cursed him to never be able to complete a movie without dying. And that's what we're here today to do, is to complete something without dying. There's this like magical amulet that the Scene Beans have created through their hate and their turpitude. They've like been able to coagulate this amulet together, and whoever's wearing it is like the chosen one. And they're the ones who are supposed to apparently be able to finish a movie without dying. But they do die, but then the next Scene Bean picks up the amulet and continues.
They just want to reach the end. They want to get one guy to reach the end of the story.
Yep.
So as players, we're going to create our Sean Beans. We're going to be in charge of 5 each, right?
5 Sean Beans.
Like goblins, each Sean Bean has 2 wounds. When Sean Bean loses both of his wounds, he dies. Name your first Sean Bean. This is easy, as his name is Sean Bean. All other Sean Beans are also called Sean Bean.
Yep, pretty easy to name them.
So then we'll decide what class of Sean Bean our Sean Bean is going to be. So over the millennia, Sean Bean has been developed into several distinct classes of Sean Bean. We roll an 8-sided die to work out which one you are, or just pick one, and write it down. D, why don't you start us off? Why don't you roll your Sean Bean? So you have a shooty bean.
A shooty bean.
A man of action, not words. His strengths are punching, shooting, and not talking.
Yeah. All right, I'll roll next.
Stark Bean.
I am Stark Bean.
A noble leader. If one a little behind the times, his strengths are honesty, tradition, and doing the right thing.
Sounds like me.
And my Sean Bean is Shakespearean Bean.
Nice.
He, amongst all the Sean Beans, is the most keenly aware of his curse. His strengths are his pride, his conviction, his willingness to walk into dangerous situations. So now we're going to roll on a table. You guys will roll 1 die. All of us will. And this will determine how our Sean Bean will die. Now we need to practice our Sean Bean voices.
Jesus, okay.
Your scene, you should always speak in a Sean Bean voice.
Okay.
Be as gruff and northern as you like, brisk, but then warm and reassuring, like an open fire in a country pub after a February walk on the moors. Like a man who'd hold you tightly as the world burned. Come closer. I'll hold you tight to my body. It's all right.
Can't you see that I can't go on? Not without you!
Call the police. We've got to get them in here.
Now we'll determine the story that will end the curse.
We all roll twos.
Oh, yeah. All right. So the genre is sci-fi. Our hero is a spy or agent, and we must take one big score that'll set him up for life. So now we need to name this film. What is a sci-fi film about a spy or agent? So what is the name of our film, and what is the name of our Sean Bean?
Shoot the Moon is the name of our film.
Adam.
Adam. It's
Adam Furstman. All right.
All right. The character's name is Adam Furstman. Great.
Furstman.
Sean Bean seems like he plays
Furstman.
guys with regular sounding names.
The Sean Beans are going to help each other out. They've
Yep.
infiltrated the set. They're playing extras, bit parts, sidekicks, love interests, all in a series of wigs and disguises. They're working the camera. They're in charge of the special effects. They're not in positions of authority, but they're working behind the scenes to keep their dream alive. The film is 9 scenes long and broken up into 3 acts of 3 scenes each. It might be longer when viewed in the cinema, but those scenes probably don't contain Sean Bean, so they're not really worth the name.
True.
If at least a single Sean Bean makes it to the end of the movie, their quest is successful and Sean Bean is freed from his curse. So, scene 1, we're going to give Sean Bean, one of our players, an amulet of undoing. So this is the player whose first Sean Bean would best fit into the plot. I kind of feel like Shooter Sean Bean might fit
I
in
agree.
pretty well.
Shooty Bean.
We will do, so this is Act 1, Scene 1.
Yep.
Right?
All right, Shooty Bean.
I ask you guys, where does this scene take place?
We're getting introduced to like the massive casino area that they've built on the soundstage.
So we're on the moon on the soundstage.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Wait,
So scouting
Casino
out-
on the moon.
we're literally on the moon right
Yeah,
now?
it's sci-fi.
Cool, I love it. So
It's a moon casino.
well, no, I got that. I more meant that the soundstage is on the moon.
No,
No.
we'll
We're-
suspend disbelief.
All right.
Because again, it's documentary.
It's true.
Yes, there is a real Sean Bean who lives on the
That's
on
true.
the moon.
Mhm.
That's
being
true.
Filmed as such.
That's true.
Challenges faced. I'd say you're an agent from an Earthside casino, and your challenge is to avoid
That's right.
detection as you sort of scout this new casino.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Get
that's
the lay
right.
of the land.
Because you're here to prove what shitty moon security they have,
Yeah, and also exploit it,
ostensibly,
yeah.
but
Mhm.
really you're here to steal and make one last score. But
so
your cover stories, you're here to.
so what are the other characters?
Yeah, who
What
are the
other
other
characters are
characters in
present
this
in this scene? Well, there's a pit boss.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's got it's a little extra hard because he has an extra set of eyes in the back of his head.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Pit
Let's
boss.
just look around.
He's the alien.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense. Another gambler.
What
some
about
type?
like a possible love interest
Oh,
who might also is mysterious? We don't know
Yes.
what side that person is on.
mysterious love interest. I love it.
Mhm. Why don't you determine, right? Because we've given you stuff.
So
right?
there's the pit bosses there.
We have the pit boss.
love
There's your love
interest.
interest. You're in this casino. What would be your goal in the scene?
I want to stay undercover while discovering something of the security of the casino.
Case the security.
Yes, I'm casing the joint. Also want to determine who the mysterious love interest is, like if they could be a potential ally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you want to got it. So you kind of have to navigate the floor to do these things
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
under the baleful eyes
Of the pit boss.
of the pit boss.
right.
Ken, how are we blending into this scene?
Stark Bean is pretending to be one of the hired actors, a Caesar's palace type
Mhm.
deal. So he's in his like armor and weapons, very medieval looking. Though it's sort of weird because it's like a moon casino, so you'd think it'd be more like sci-fi themed. He's trying to blend in with that by putting on a visor.
My Sean Bean is a waiter. She's walking around with a tray
Mm-hmm.
mixed between like a bunny outfit, like this is a kind of a sleazy casino a little bit,
A space
like
bunny.
like a dirndl too. So like it's
Mhm.
like this weird medieval space bunny mashup kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a tray of drinks.
The cameras are rolling, and Shooty Bean, he is dressed in a very debonair moon tuxedo that blends in with the high class other patrons of the casino.
When we say moon tuxedo, does that mean it's like ivory? Like,
Yeah, it's like
or is it like
opalescent.
it's opalescent?
Yes.
Does it have craters?
It's like an opalescent white. And lots of people are dressed in white because
Mhm.
we're on the moon. Everyone's blending in.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of steps up. The floor of the casino is recessed, so you have to walk down a large staircase, like a beautiful staircase into the floor where we have space craps and space roulette tables, blackjack.
Just regular blackjack, not space blackjack.
Well, it's burger blackjack because this is a White Castle casino. That's the medieval theme.
Yeah, there it is.
Shooty Bean looks out over the crowd. You see him kind of surreptitiously adjust his tuxedo jacket. He makes a gesture out of the crowd because he has a hidden camera inset in the
Ooh.
cufflinks of his
Nice.
space tuxedo, and he's trying to surreptitiously collect video information and relay it back so that he can watch it later. But he steps down into the floor and he heads over to a burger blackjack table to try and see if he can just blend in while playing a few rounds of blackjack.
Yeah, while Adam Furstman steps in the room, he's a presence.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to not notice Adam Furstman. And the love interest it's a woman here in this case, right?
Sure.
She's like everyone else is in white, and she's just in like this shockingly red.
Yes, that's
dress.
exactly what I was
And
thinking as
shivers.
well. It's almost like she's trapezoidal. Like it's this, it's almost an hourglass shape, but not really. It's got like this weird, it's almost like isosceles triangles coming together at different angles that are sort of covering her shoulders and her torso. And then like it's a skirt that sort of comes down just to her, like just below her knees, maybe. Her like shins are out, shimmering.
It's built to confuse anatomy. Like it's like the fashion of the day.
Yeah,
is
you're
to
not
have, like,
sure what kind of form.
They call it fractured anatomy.
Mhm.
But she locks eyes on you, and you across the casino as you.
Adam Furstman shares a significant glance with this potential love interest, and he watches her as she approaches him at the blackjack bowl.
Uh-oh, you're becoming quite the center of attention, though.
Shooty Bean, he's gonna try and, I guess, what do you say in blackjack? He's gonna try and
Fold.
fold his hand and try and step away from the table to try and blend back in with the crowd. Like just step away
to hide.
and hide a little bit in with the crowd.
As she approaches.
Yeah, as she approaches.
Okay.
Want to roll?
Sure. So I just roll one.
I think I'm trying to help. I like loom over you and I'm all like, do you want a picture? Souvenir. And I'm trying to like basically block you from people seeing you.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I step in front of this woman who's like approaching you, and my tray of glasses gets knocked by her. And I'm so sorry as my glasses shatter.
No,
Everyone's
say it in your
like,
Sean Bean
"Turn."
voice.
I'm so sorry. As the glass, I'm so sorry. He has like a little falsetto as the glasses shatter, and he's picking them up. The pit boss. So,
All right.
So you get to
can
roll
3 die.
2 successes. You're successfully hidden. I'm like, run, my boy, run.
Questions. What happens next?
Get the amulet out of here.
How does this present a challenge for your characters? Maybe the pit boss recognizes the woman and is gonna go and like walkies in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, like
Especially because there's this commotion with the glasses breaking.
and she's a focal point.
She's a focal point, and obviously you wouldn't pay any attention to the fugly sort of waitress that's next to her.
No, it's like smoky and mysterious waitress.
Smoky and mysterious waitress, exactly. You wouldn't pay any attention to her. Of course not. But you would pay attention to the love interest.
What's this love interest's name?
Bianca.
Bianca Bellini.
Bianca Bellini, I love it. Mm-hmm.
The cat burglar.
The cat burglar.
How does this pose a challenge for your character? Yeah, your
Just
challenge
sort of
is like, how can you get this woman that
to
you're
safety.
drawn to
Right.
out of this like
Out-
closing trap,
Exactly.
and maybe still maintain your anonymity?
I was also going to say you've been able to discover security without being discovered. You've sussed out a love interest. Now you're going to go in and try and rendezvous, abscond
Mhm.
alongside.
With the love interest.
Alongside. What's the other thing? Okay.
Well, who's in the scene, right? There's the pit boss and
Pit
the
boss,
security
security
and whatever
guards.
generics around.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think that like
Bianca.
the casino boss
Oh.
is like coming through the front. He's noticing the commotion, but like casino boss is coming in the front door.
Space boss.
So D, what's
Mhm.
your scene? What's happening with Adam Furstman?
He wants to draw attention away from the mysterious woman while also maintaining his cover. this character also happens to be Shooty Bean, who is all about action.
I've switched costumes to no longer be casino goers would take pictures with to now being one of the security guards. So I'm in like this ill-fitting sort of security guard uniform, space security guard, where like the lapels, the epaulets on my guard uniform are sort of like askance, and my like pants are more like unzipped because I had to like pull them on. So my furs are like coming out of every sort of part of me, and my big great sword is still strapped to my back.
Shakespearean Bean has shed some of the clothes and then put like a chauffeur's like jacket on and a cap.
Yeah.
And is wending their way through the crowd to the front to see if they can and gets a little sign that says like AF.
Nice.
Adam Furstman looks around and spies a space alarm on the wall.
That you pull in a space emergency.
Yeah,
Says
space
that,
emergency.
that there's a vacuum like
Like
compromised.
Exactly.
Depressurization.
Tribbles.
Yep, all that stuff. So he's going to try and lunge for the alarm to pull it to try to distract everyone and get the crowd to panic and cut off from the mysterious woman, the security team.
My guy's not going to be super, if anything, is just distracting the boss in this one.
I am pointing at the wrong culprits and saying, arrest that one! Can't you see him? He's right there!
So Shooty Bean, he like runs for the alarm and is shoving people out of the way. He's going to lunge for the alarm.
Ooh.
So you could...
So Az is shoving people aside, but they're not really moving. They're kind of turning around to give him like a glare. He's like, get out of the way! And they're not listening. So then he shoves one person aside, takes like a running leap, does some hardcore like parkour moves off the backs of some of the patrons, so that way he can flip over and with one hand try and pull the space alarm.
Okay.
And he downs a beer that he grabs off
You could roll.
a table as well. Downs this beer real quick too.
He grabs a glass from a tray.
Exactly. Downs
Somewhere.
it. Oh, fucking everything's coming up so good for Shooty Bean.
All right, so he does, and he slams the alarm down, and chaos is like, meh, meh, meh. People start running for the exits.
They do. It's pandemonium, chaos.
So, yeah, questions. Ask us the questions.
Ask
and
us
we'll
the
answer.
questions and we'll
Alright.
answer them for you.
So what happens next?
You get in an elevator and go upwards to the 152nd floor.
Right.
Yeah, how does this present a challenge for my character?
This is challenge because you need to get the elevator to work or to hack it or something like that. You need to use your special agent skillsnicks all over this elevator panel. And at the same time, you need to romance up your romantic interest.
So you're right. The goal is you want to get into this elevator and get it work, right?
Yeah. Well, the goal is to get to the 152nd floor.
Get grabbed. Your arm gets grabbed.
Oh, yeah.
And you're pulled into the elevator by Bianca
By
Bellini.
Bianca Bellini, exactly.
And she's like, I don't know who you are, but you really saved my bacon out there.
Nice dress.
Why, thank you. Listen, they're going to have this place on lockdown with that alarm you pulled. Look, I need you to like fend them off while I hack the elevator and get us up there. I may need you to pull some wires. It's not going to be safe.
Safe. Safe's not my middle name.
Well, who else is in the scene? But Bellini's in the scene. Is there
Bellini's in
anybody
the
else?
scene.
I think on the first floor, the pit
Pit
boss
boss
and the
pit
casino
boss and
boss
casino bosses are in the
and some
scene.
security. This is like a glass elevator
So there are other people in the elevator?
in other elevators.
In other
like
elevators.
security who are
Yeah.
taking who
Yeah.
may be taking other elevators like down.
Yeah, or just random casino goers as well.
I don't know, Shooty Bean, he already did his distraction.
Everyone's distracted who could be distracted. The only
Right.
people who have actually got eyes on you right now are the pit boss and the casino boss.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably coming for you with some security guards. But everyone else otherwise is
He's
totally
unaware.
in pandemonium and
Mhm.
very unaware.
And I'm going to give this mysterious stranger the chance to help me out because I'm intrigued by her.
If you can hack this elevator, maybe someone's trying to override. So it's like combat.
Combat
hacking.
hacking, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're trying to keep people locked out. I feel like I'm like a potted plant next to the elevator. I'm like a ficus plant, strategically like standing next to the elevator entrance. There's a sword handle sticking out of the top of it.
Yeah. And I think I'm like an elevator maintenance guy who just happens to be like sitting on top of the elevator fixing something.
Adam Furstman, he's not much of a hacker himself, but he pulls out of his breast pocket a little electronic device and he hands it to the mysterious lady beside him. And he says, "You get to work on this. I'll take care of them." And he looks back towards the mob of the pit boss and the goons that are coming for him.
Yeah, they're running towards that elevator.
Yeah, and he notices a big moon glass chandelier, like a huge chandelier over the entire floor of the casino. Yep, and he reaches into his other breast pocket and he's gonna pull out what looks like a box the size of a TV remote. He flips it open, pulls out a little wand type shaped thing, and it is ultra high tech sonic emitter.
Yeah.
And he's gonna aim it at the chandelier and attempt to send the sonic vibrations over to send it crashing down on top of the minions below.
I don't know.
You've got to hold them all, says Bianca Bellini.
Hopefully, this will do the trick.
My guy is he takes a wrench and holds the elevator's doors open long enough for you to make the shot.
There you go. Okay.
So you get 2 die.
You die.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's bad, right?
Yeah.
take a wound and then something
Something
bad
bad.
happens. Yeah.
Okay. The sonic emitter works.
Yeah.
It sends this giant chandelier crashing to the floor. As the chandelier starts to fall, a huge mound of sparks flies out of it.
Ooh.
And then the entire casino is plunged into blackness.
Ah,
as
darkness.
The power goes out,
Mhm.
which turns off the elevators and turns off all the systems
Oh,
that run them, electronics that run them.
Okay, so how do you take damage?
As the power goes out, sparks fly. The elevator that myself and the lovely lady are standing in drops, descends about, I don't know what would be dangerous but not unsurvivable. Like a couple floors.
Five subfloors.
Yep.
Oh,
floors. Myself and the lady are thrown, and I, of course, attempt to protect her in the falling elevator.
And she says, "Hold me close."
And my guy's the same, like electricity surge, like blasts through the wrench he was using
Ooh.
and shoots him off to the side. You're -5 floors away from your goal of 152nd floor.
Right.
How are you going to get up there?
I think hacking's out of the question. The power's out. Until any backup generators come on, we're still plunged in blackness. Now me and the lovely lady are in darkness. He's gonna whip out a futuristic glow stick and turn it on, and it causes his face to light up in this green glow. And there with the lady together. And I feel like I want it to be some sort of romantic moment.
Yeah,
'cause here
Bianca
we
looks
are.
into his eyes, as you look into each other's eyes.
Yeah.
And
How are we going to get out of this? This could be the end.
There's still hope. He's going to try and get the elevator doors open to get out of the elevator and try and work a way around. He eyes the lovely young woman, seemingly with a purpose in mind, and he reaches out and he grabs her skirt and he violently jerks it off, and she's left standing there in like
oh, Adam, I
So
forward.
but somehow the dress pulls away and she's got like a perfectly elegant like sleeveless sheath underneath, because he just was so debonairly managed to rip away
And she's
the
in her cat
armature.
burglar suit, and she's a
Yep.
cat burglar. And she's like, "Oh, tee-hee."
He takes the armature of her dress and he starts pressing it together and forming it into a crowbar, and attempts to pries open the doors of the elevator and merging them into blackness.
I think just one, yeah.
Yeah, just one. It's a tough one.
It's a -1. So you're going to take another hit.
Oh,
So what happened?
what happens?
He turns away from
Bianca Bellini.
Bianca Bellini. He doesn't know her name. She didn't tell him. But
True.
he turns
She-
away.
He read the script. He knows it because he read the script.
Yeah, Sean Bean knows. He turns away, wedging the armature into the doors of the elevator, trying to open it. We see from the camera's perspective, Bianca Bellini's eyes narrow, and she pulls out from the crotch of her burglar suit a gun and shoots Sean Bean, aka Adam Furstman, right in the back.
head.
And he
Awesome.
drops to the ground. She reaches over into his other breast pocket and pulls out a small mysterious device.
That's right.
Pair of arms reaches down and grabs shot in the back Sean Bean.
Sure.
Mhm.
Grabs.
Pulls him up through the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Like so pulls this Adam Furstman up.
Mhm.
Like so as the shot fire rings out and it's like the glow stick falls and it
And
all
he's
goes
like
to
falling
pitch.
forward.
Mhm.
Then he's like
Immediately
like
scooped
as
up.
as this light falls away from him, he's scooped up out of the scene.
Mhm.
And then another Sean Bean, you see the glow stick gets picked up
Yes.
again,
Mhm.
and the weapon is knocked out of
Bianca's
Bianca's hand. Goes, be careful with that thing. You could hurt somebody.
It went off by accident. I swear it.
Here's what we're gonna do. Hold me tight. And he
I thought you'd never ask.
he takes a jump and grabs onto the elevator, and the two of them pull themselves onto the top of the
Mhm.
elevator. And he takes that device that she was trying to steal from his hand and slices through the cable, one of the two
Nice.
cables of the thing, and says, "Oh, tighter than that, love." holds the other cord that starts to pull him up and away into up at like zzz.
I've never held this tight before. Let's
He
see.
attempts to get
Oh,
up.
how are we in the scene? Are we in the
Where are you guys at?
Yeah.
Are we? How are?
Well, I guess I see.
How are Shooty Bean? How's your other Shooty Bean in the
Yeah.
scene now?
Well, I think let's see what happens with this roll.
Okay.
Like
We cut to like the first floor where we see Stark Bean still in the ficus outfit, like with the master power switch, like putting it back on, basically.
As the motor pulls.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, all right. So,
Yeah, good and
you know
bad.
what? I'm gonna do a reroll.
Yeah, how are you? How are you getting your reroll? What are you doing? there?
So
What are you pulling in from your world?
he pulls in the ghost of his father.
That sounds good. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So a ghost Sean Bean
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah,
who's all
a ghost Sean Bean who's the
dressed,
father.
Yeah,
of
who's all
Sean
dressed to look much older.
Bean. Sort of materializes.
You can do it, Sonny. Oh God, you're gonna be joining me soon.
So the the camera watches as this
Yep.
as Sean Bean and Bianchi are zipped
And the
up into
ghost.
the air,
Yeah.
like, and the
Ghost is trailing along beside him.
they're sort of it's like you could just be sparks or spectral energy, and the glow sort of disappears, and the camera sees Bianchi falling.
Yep.
But what the camera doesn't see is that this cord is just pulling Adam Furstman
Mm-hmm.
super fast up, well past 200 floors.
Yep.
To the tippy top, where he smashes through like the ceiling and lands on a spire,
Oh.
like one of the many spires.
Remember me.
And so, how do you guys cover the fact that this Adam Furstman died?
Stark Bean put the power back on, and now we're seeing like I think Bianca falling just into these meaty, beefy arms that sort of reach out into the elevator shaft from the first floor where the elevator doors have opened, and she falls directly into Stark Bean's massive medieval arms. And he looks at her and says, "Get ready for a trial."
And how do you get rid of Shakespearean Bean's body?
On the
think-
spike on
yeah.
the very tippy top
Well,
of the moon casino.
Well, the
Gotta-
top of the
gotta
moon
keep it hidden.
casino, it's all like space glass, right? Like all the crystalline spires and whatever, and that's what the Shakespearean Bean was impaled upon. There happens to just be a custodian, Sean Bean,
I
who's
love
up
it.
there
Yeah.
washing the windows, and he takes a quick look around. He's pretty much alone up there. He climbs up on the spire and is jerking the Sean Bean body up off of the spike and looking around trying to get him off
somebody
of
notices.
it. Yeah, and then he pulls the body down and takes his squeegees and starts squeeging up the blood
Oh,
before anybody can see.
cool.
All right, so you're still in the same predicament.
Still in the same predicament. I run over to the other elevator banks with Bianca in tow. I say very softly. I say, "You get that elevator working, and I'll hold them off." And I turn around.
Yeah, and a very confused bellhop pushing a cart full of luggage, and it just so happens to go right in front of the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, as the security trying to mob
security
it,
are trying to mob it.
and they're like, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Pardon me. What's going on?"
And I start throwing the suitcases on the bellhop
At the goons.
At the goons. Are you helping out at all, Shooty Bean?
Nope.
All right. Cool.
Success and a bad thing.
Yes. I think the bad thing that happened, I'm like punching and kicking these suitcases at the goons that are like getting hit in the stomach and are tripping and pratfalling and sort of getting hit in the head, and it's turning in this very Three Stooges-esque thing. But then I like punch through one of the suitcases and I like can't get it off my arm, basically. So I've got the suitcase around my arm and I run into the elevator and I say, Bianca, it's now or never!
And you had a success, so
I did.
How does that manifest?
That's exactly the success of it, is that all the suitcases have knocked over the goons. So they're like distracted, they're pratfalling, slowed up. The pit boss has fallen as well. The casino owner is behind all of them with his stinky cigar and his oily hair.
Hollering at everybody.
Yeah, hollering at everybody, exactly. In his space moon language that no one understands.
All right, so how are you going to attempt?
As Stark Bean, I'm going to say, I don't understand your moon conveyance, but what I do understand is doing the right thing. Press the up button. And I try and convince her to press the up button. All right, I'm going to roll.
All right.
Nope, that didn't work. I unsheath my sword. Shing! As something good happens. No, something bad happens. Because I got a -1, right? Because I rolled a 3 on the last one. So there's actually a 3. Something bad happens. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. As I whip out my sword, like I get it sort of like stuck, like I'm trying to like get it out of the sheath and it just smashes into the ceiling. And I'm like trying to flailing about, trying to get at the right angle to whip it out. As I'm doing that, I smash my forehead against the elevator controls. Come on now. There it is.
So that does it. How does that manifest?
I smash my forehead into the controls and they sort of light up. Boop, 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 boop. And we just start speeding up towards the 152nd floor. And I say, that was cold as ice. Feel it. I can feel it coming. Act 2. What happens next, you guys?
You're going to get to that floor, right?
I get the 152nd floor. That's right.
Right. So like that's fine. And you step out into the penthouse that is Bianca Bellini's penthouse that she was like renting at this casino. Tools and plans and kits are, right?
Yes.
And your goal, she has compatriots here.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's got a whole thing planned.
Oh yeah, she's got like a little sort of gang.
She's got a whole crew. Yeah, well, you figure out what it is. But basically, this complication is that she doesn't trust you.
Got it.
She's already tried to kill you once.
That's true. She technically has killed me once.
And so now you're trying to figure out a way to
gain her trust.
/
sex her up.
Like alpha the crew.
Alpha the crew, I mean.
Or something. That's
got it.
Yeah.
Sex them up.
Yeah.
Sex everybody up.
There you go.
Solve all your problems.
Gain trust of Bianca and lead the crew. We have Bianca in the scene. We have her crew, which I think are a mix of sort of like space age 70 throwback archetypes, like the demolition expert and the ninja and like the knife thrower and like the lasso person. And like it's like this A-team basically.
And there's also this massive decorative fish tank.
Yes, that's true.
With like an exotic fish. But you
don't know. It's like some sort of moonfish.
Close look. It's a Sean Bean and an exotic fish
some
costume.
Sort of weird moonfish that I've never seen before. Yep, that makes sense. Anyone else there?
One of the crewmen who looks to be the number 2 in command.
Yeah.
He's got sort of a bad black mustache, handlebar mustache.
And an eye patch.
And an eye patch. But it's Sean Bean.
Yep.
And a bad wig.
Yep.
And he says, Bianca, who's this guy?
For pity's sake, give me a moment. I've been in the fight of my life. I'm Alex Furstman. Adam, whatever.
Adam Furstman.
Hey, Furstman. The first of the Furstmans. And I'm here to take this casino for all it's worth. I can see you're all loaded for bear. A space bear.
Bianca, what's this guy talking about? We were here. We were going to take the prize. We were going to take it ourselves. What's this guy? What's his deal?
You're not going to be able to do it yourselves.
I don't think you understand what's going on here, Furstman. This is our job. This is my crew.
And what a beautiful crew it is. But I'd hate to see all their pretty faces. Swoosh the crap!
Oh, yeah. You think you can take us, Furstman?
Not me! But of course I could. But I'm saying by the casino owner, he knows you're here. For pity's sake, he knows we're all here. We got to move quick and smart. And if I need to prove it to you, I will. I'll prove it to you right now. I regale them with the specifications of this casino and how difficult it will be to get into the secret vault that is on the top floor.
How could
I
we
don't know. You're
help?
playing as one of the crewmen. What
Yeah.
would you do as a crewman to help?
Yeah, you could just chime in and
chimes in.
be like, all right, let's hear this plan.
All right. I'm going to use the death energy that is permeating all Sean Beans to say, I'll prove it to you by fighting you all right now. I go in to fight them. Like, I'm getting ready to fight them. And I do start fighting them to show them that I should be their leader. And it doesn't help at all as I get thrown bodily by basically all of them into the aquarium. It smashes, and all these lampreys just come out of it and attach to me and start killing me, sucking my eyeballs out and just like eating me as I'm like screaming and flailing on the ground.
What was the death?
Animals, something animals.
Something with animals.
Something involving animals. But luckily, there's someone else that comes right out of the aquarium.
So as I come out of the aquarium, I cover your body with my fish body,
Mhm.
roll around, and we like kind of flail and rock until we're both like behind the aquarium.
Yeah, and there's like a scrum of people who run over to like look at it, and out of the scrum, Shooty Bean emerges.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, and I'm like stuffing you into the costume.
Mhm. So now the opalescent tuxedo's looking a little worse for the wear.
That's true.
But it's to be expected.
That's true.
We're
So
still
you're
in
still
this
trying to
museum.
convince Bianca and the crew. You just destroyed my. Well, they're the hotels, but this is going to go on my bill. If I wasn't robbing this place, I'd be pissed.
There's not gonna be a bill, because we're gonna take this hotel for everything that it's got. Now you're gonna listen to me. We've got to get to that secret vault. We've wasted enough time here.
Why should we go with you? Why should we bother?
Because, and he reaches into his other breast pocket, and he pulls out a golden key,
Ooh.
and he says, "This key is gonna get us inside."
And Bianca reaches between her cleavage and pulls out a set of keys and be like, well, this gets me inside my car. She reaches into her pocket. Well, this gets me inside, my apartment. Oh, and this gets me inside my ship. This is how I'm going to get off of this rock. So, yeah, you know what? Hey, guys, why don't you show your keys, too? Because it's a key party from the looks of it.
There's like a bearskin rug on the ground near the fireplace that like someone, like a little hand comes out with a key.
So he is going to try to physically intimidate the team. So he is going to try and grab Bianca and shake some sense into her, so that way everyone will believe in him as the intimidator of everyone. But do you want to help me intimidate somehow?
Yeah.
A fish kind of like pops up and spits some water, and guys who would have like rushed you kind of slip a little bit and are slowed down.
Definitely. And the bearskin rug sort of quickly jerks out of the way, making people like sort of fall over as they're standing on it.
All right. So he goes for
2 successes, 1 damage.
So he reaches forward and he grabs Bianca by the throat and he pushes her up
Snap.
against the wall and says, "Woman, you've got to listen to me." And she reaches into her cleavage again and pulls out a sharp little stiletto and jams it into his forearm.
Ooh.
But Shooty Bean holds on and
As like blood drips down his arm.
yeah, and he's just like, "You'll have to try harder than that to get me to flinch." And she squints her eyes at him, but they sort of come to a mutual look.
You haven't succeeded yet.
So Bianca's on your side, but the rest of the crew is not. And they're all getting up for where they've been falling down from slipping, being knocked over by bear rugs.
Yeah, you're manhandling their boss.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, take your hands off our boss."
You won't like my crew when they're mad. See if you can survive this one.
So he tosses her aside and turns to the crew.
And she like lands spryly on her feet and just kind of like strikes a hero pose.
And
Laughs.
Shooty Bean, you see him take one hand and like wipe a bit of blood from his forearm.
You're
And then
not
he-
gonna take your fate into our hands. little one.
And he settles back into a boxer pose and gets ready to take them all on. Mano a mano.
They rush him.
They rush him, brush him.
So he's facing him alone.
A big bear, Roy raises up behind you. Rah! Trying to scare him.
One or two guys are distracted as they get pelted by like small pebbles and stones. And they look
That
back
look like
and they
fake gold, like
they look back
they're
just as like
little,
a fish head ducks
like
under
little
the thing.
fake gold chests that are
Yeah.
in front of them, like
Like a little
aquarium.
skeleton and a
Skeletons and-
dog with a fish bowl head
Yep.
thing.
All right.
What's that mean?
It means successes.
Sweet.
And so what happens?
So the goons rush Shooty Bean, and he's throwing wicked punches.
Mhm.
He slams one guy to the ground, and as another guy comes from behind to try to take him, and he whirls around and high kicks that guy and flips over, kicks another guy, and pretty soon all the goons are down on the floor, and Shooty Bean stands there, and he turns around to Bianca, and he says, "Is that good enough for you?"
And she shrugs and says, just means all their shares are going to get split one more way. I'm not cutting mine up, though.
We'll see.
All right.
All
so
right.
questions.
So, what happens next?
You guys have to make your way to the top floor. You have to make your way to the secret vault. And the only way to get to the secret vault is by the secret staircase.
So, what presents a challenge about the secret staircase?
The secret staircase is guarded pretty heavily
Mm-hmm.
by like these drone robots.
Yes.
So it's
This
so
is
it's not
weird.
like there's just a couple guys hanging outside the
No.
secret staircase because that wouldn't make it very secretive.
No, exactly.
It's like
there's
there
like
are-
moon tech robots who are
Right.
patrolling the top
Right.
floor.
patrol the stairs to the floor.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure out a way past them to
Past
get
the
there.
moon bots.
And what other characters are present in the scene?
Bianca's there.
She's got a sneaker, like a guy who can hide you guys from the cameras for a
Mhm.
limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a clock on this, like maybe one or two other sets of muscle as well. And then there's these there will be these robots.
Yep. And then there's this like really buff medieval looking robot technician who's in some overalls who's also around.
Mm-hmm.
Does he look like Sean
He
Bean?
does, as a matter of fact. Oddly, he looks very similar to him.
So your goal is to get past the robots and up secret stairs.
Yep. Secret lunar staircase.
Well, I'll tell you, technology's not Shooty Bean's forte. He's much of a he's kind of a fighter, but even he recognizes that the volume of robots guarding this place would pose a challenge for him. He's got some tech that's gonna help him out. It's still functioning despite his dunking in the tanks. So he pulls out an EMP grenade and he says, "We've got one chance to get this to work. I'll blast them, and then while they're stunned, we'll make a break and get past them.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I can only try." So he's gonna try and pitch this EMP grenade into the midst of robots and set off a remote detonator.
Awesome. Yeah.
Blast.
The robot technician is drinking some water and pours the raw water on one of the robots. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, and then in the drop ceiling, there's a guy positioned with a tennis racket, just like waiting, just in case something goes stray. That maybe he can hit this,
Volley it back.
volley it in a good direction.
Towards the robots.
So that would mean that you get one success, one wound, and then something bad.
You're gonna
happens.
die,
Yes,
right?
you will die. Unless you re-roll. Do you want to use your Shooty Bean re-roll?
Nah.
Nah. Okay. cool.
All right.
All right.
So what?
One-
Describe the
Yes.
kill.
Well, or do you want to describe success and then bad thing and then
Well, we'll just
kill,
see
I guess?
the
Or-
moment in the narration,
I love
the
it.
exploration of the
Yes,
scene.
indeed. Just feel your feelings. Explore it.
Our hero chucks this EMP grenade towards the robots. The Sean Bean in the ceiling bats it perfectly, and it centers in the midst of all these robots. And Shooty Bean pushes his button for the EMP pulse. The majority of the robots kind of like meow, shut down, but one of them seems to sort of short circuit and goes crazy and is sparking, and all of its pieces start flying off at high velocity, and an antenna flies straight out and spears
Oh,
Shooty Bean right in the chest.
ooh.
and he drops to the ground.
There's sort of these explosions going off and these like pyro kind of things, and a smoke pellet is dropped from the ceiling, and a rope kind of loops around, stabbed Adam Furstman, and then another Adam Furstman descends, like holding a rope into the smoke as the body gets lifted out, and like a couple other pairs of arms pull it into the drop ceiling. Adam Furstman straightens his tie and goes, "That was a close one." He's like holding this antenna right like here. Like
That was a close shave.
Now, the CMP, Bianca, we're going to have to be real stealthy to get past these robots. They're basically just sleep. I basically just knocked them out. So we got to tread lightly.
Well,
do
you could
you
have
think your
fooled me.
muscles can do this? Your thugs here can be soft-footed enough to get past it?
Well, Daisy and Biscuit, I can do anything that's needed.
That's good to hear, Bianca. All right, I'll take the lead. You follow my footsteps, eh?
All right, boys, tough enough.
All right. And so Adam Furstman starts to like tread gently, like one foot after the other. I know you're soft and I know you'll make it because you're a renowned cat burglar, Bianca. But again, I'm worried for your men there.
At this point, Bianca has switched costumes out of her trapezoidal ball gown casino wear into more of a body stocking.
Yeah, she was in that sheath since it got pulled
right,
off.
the sheath, exactly. The sheath is in full effect now. It's
Yeah.
like almost like a bodysuit type thing.
All
There's
right.
sort of like a split in the center of the chest.
The handlebar mustache, Sean
Mhm.
Bean.
Mm-hmm.
He's
back.
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
He was.
He's-
Of course he was.
He slips off his shoes and he's got a pair of slippy socks on, trying to be more
Nice.
sneaky. One little toe sticking out.
Do anything, technician?
What the technician is doing is pressing some buttons on a pad that are causing like certain robots to like malfunction or shut down a little bit. Like their sensors are sort of dimming, where you can see sort of the illumination of their like quote unquote like ocular sensors sort of like going away.
All right.
All right.
As we're cat pawing up the stairs, and we're almost to the top, and I'm kind of like ferrying people through.
Go!
And Bianchi's also like doing it's her crew. She doesn't trust me. She stays back. A metal arm clamps onto her leg
Ooh.
as we're both about to get out of the door.
Adam!
And I kick this robot in the
Clunk.
head, and it explodes, shredding my like leg and pants. And now I'm like limping and bleeding
Yeah.
as we head our way into the next scene. So we interrupt our story there, and we will continue in our next communique. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. You can find my media recommendation review podcast at newtoyoushow.com and my book club podcast at woundandstab.com. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me, Ken Breese, at Burling's Beard, BERLINGS Beard, on Twitter and on Instagram. I have a website of the same name where you can hire me to run your D&D games in the New York City area. I am a concierge DM and would love to game with you.
All right. And D, where can people find you?
I'm D. Gailey. You can find me if you really want on Twitter. I'm MixNerd, MXNURD, and you can tweet me up.
To find out more of the players and the engine in our story, go visit boardghost.com. You can pierce the veil and contact us on Twitter at BoardGhostWorld. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. You can also go support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BoardGhost. We have some art. We try to give the Patreon patrons early access to the second half of episodes. And if at a certain level, we have also been making exclusive how to play videos that are a little more in-depth and have visual instruction on the games that we play. So yeah, we really thank our patrons so much. It's really helpful. If you are not in a place to make a financial contribution, and even if you already are, get out there and spread the word. Tell people you can about the show. Get the word out and help us spread Board Ghost. Thanks a lot. You can leave reviews and comments on iTunes, your preferred listening portal, and take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying, don't agree with me.